God speaks. Now, the reason we teach people to tarry for long in prayer is not to brag about it. It's so that they can develop stamina in order not to stop before God speaks. Because if they stop before God speaks, they wasted their time. If you don't have stamina and you are praying with Elijah, after the third time you may go. I'm saying this now because there are those who will hear and say, we said it. All this long prayer, 10 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours, we know it's flesh. That's not what we are saying. That training is necessary. Because there are many times you want to create change that it will take 72 hours for God to speak. So if you have not trained yourself on 14 hours prayers non-stop, you will not be able to wait until the voice of God comes. And what will create the change is not the prayer. What will create the change is the feedback that comes from heaven. And so prayer is the way of creating that gangway for that voice to come. Because the voice of God is upon many waters. The voice of God is full of majesty. The Bible said the voice of God thundered. He divided the flames of fire. He said he discovered the forest. He causes the hind to calve. Even creation itself is sustained by the voice of God. And so when a man wants to create dominion, without every contradiction, he will lock himself away and pray until God speaks. This is what Elijah knew. He knew that the darkness on the territory, only a change that is supernatural can judge the heart of the king. So he showed up and said, before God whom I stand, there shall be no rain or dew except at my word. After he finished saying it, he knew that if God doesn't veto it, there is problem. So Elijah would have been on that mountain for 1 week. Hope you know, Moses was waiting for the voice of God, and he waited for 40 days and 40 nights. He didn't go there with the intention of beating 40 days and 40 nights. He went there to wait on the voice of God, and until God speaks, nothing changes. Because the way to engender dominion is when God begins to talk. If God is not speaking into your life, you'll be in trouble. No matter where you worship. Have you not seen people mysteriously die from the most powerful places? Because there is so much God can do for you because of where you are. But the greatest insurance for your life is the speakings of God into your life. Because when God speaks to you, his jealousy defends it. He told Simeon, you will not see death until you see the salvation of Israel. Even when Simeon was old, he couldn't die because God has spoken. The voice of God will preserve. The voice of God will defend. And the voice of God will keep that which he has said. There are many forces today that program men. Because when a spirit speaks, he's not just speaking to create change. When a spirit speaks, he's programming your life. Have you seen people before? They get married, their husband is gentle and calm. Because their husband is gentle and calm, they oppress him until they are separated. It's after the marriage is destroyed that they come back to their senses. And then you ask them, they say, I don't know why. Have you seen people before? They marry very good women and they trouble them until the marriage is destroyed. After the woman leaves, then they now wake up and say, why did I do what I did? They were programmed. Have you seen people before? Every decision they make takes them away from their blessing. They were in the business for 5 years. In the 6th year that God wanted to visit, they quit. And the moment they quit, they now hear that the business have blown. And then they are wondering why. The reason is because demons speak into men's life and speak into circumstances to program men into destruction. So when you begin to pray to hear the voice of God, you are actually reprogramming your life for victory and for success. In Isaiah chapter 30 verse 12, he said when you are in the wrong way, he said you will hear a voice. That's what prayer does for you. The voice will tell you, turn back. That is not the way to go. You may have journeyed on that path for 5 years. It doesn't matter. What makes you succeed is not how long, it's how right. I've told you before that if you are in the wrong direction, speed is not an advantage. Isaiah 30:21. He said, turn. That's not the way to go. When you see men that things keep working for them, it's because there is an accuracy they have attained in the place of prayer. They will not move until God speaks. So sometimes the thing is not working. That's what they are doing. And then you are wondering, are you okay? No, they are not okay. They are hearing something from another realm. But the man who depends only on his mind does not know that there's already a verdict that is not given to man that walketh to order his step. There are too many wise creatures in this realm to manipulate things. And so in order for your life not to be programmed wrongly, you need to stay on the prayer altar. If you will stay on the prayer altar until you apprehend the voice of God, you become invincible. Jesus said, as the wind bloweth. He said, thou listest not from whence it cometh or where it goeth. He said, so are they that are born by the Spirit of God. They are men with noble intentions, but they keep making mistakes upon mistakes. Your life will end up in struggle if the mistakes you make are too many. But the way to minimize error and to reprogram your life for greatness is to ensure that your altar is generating the voice of God. If the voice of God is scarce, then a people will be sent into captivity.